What is going on, Trash Talkers? We're back with another episode for you. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the training camp standouts for every team in the AFC West division. All that and much more coming your way right now. All right, Nick, as we continue the series, we have one more division in the AFC to talk about, and that would be the AFC West. And there's been some really interesting players that have gone to this division through free agency, through trades, and through the draft. I'm really excited to talk about some of them today. And I'm going to start off with the Los Angeles Chargers. The Los Angeles Chargers made really big splash in the draft, getting somebody that's going to hold up this offensive line in Rashawn Slater, and he's the first guy on this list at offensive tackle. Then Mark Webb at defensive back, Teron Johnson at wide receiver, and Josh Palmer also at wide receiver. You tell me which one of these has the biggest impact for you moving forward.
Some big names coming out of Los Angeles Chargers camp, but none bigger than Rashawn Slater, the big offensive tackle they spent their first round pick on. You got him to protect Justin Herbert's blind side, and he's going to do just that. He has been a great addition to this offensive line so far. He has been holding up his end of the bargain, and he gets to face off against Joey Bosa every single practice, which means he's going to stand up to every single defensive end in the NFL this season. Rashawn Slater is the real deal, and he's going to continue to be an amazing player for the Chargers.
Next up, we have the Las Vegas Raiders. And then we have players like Nate Hobbs at cornerback, Damon Arnett also at cornerback, Henry Ruggs at wide receiver, and Alex Leatherwood at left tackle. I want to focus on Henry Ruggs because he showed us a lot left to be desired last year. Honestly, he did not show up to be the player that he was drafted as the first wide receiver taken in last year's draft. So when all is said and done, Henry Ruggs has a lot to prove, and he's been doing just that. Honestly, when you take a look at last offseason, again, as a rookie, you come in, there's no training camp, there's no OTAs, there's no preseason. And then all of a sudden you get 2 weeks to practice with your team. You're right on the field for the opening game. And this is it. I mean, you didn't have anything really to rely upon. Now Henry Ruggs has a full season underneath his belt. He can really get into this offense. Him and Derek Carr have a rapport. And I believe he's just going to be working on himself rather than trying to learn the playbook, learning the nuances of Derek Carr and how he likes to throw the ball. I think this is going to be the year of Henry Ruggs for the Las Vegas Raiders.
Up next, we have the Kansas City Chiefs, and their standouts have been Trey Smith, their offensive guard, right tackle Lucas Niang, and linebacker Nick Bolton. And outside of their offensive line being abysmal in the Super Bowl last season, it was their linebacking core that was also abysmal, but just did not get media attraction it deserved. And this is where Nick Bolton comes into play. He was their second round pick in this year's draft. He gets to take over as an outside linebacker on a very porous linebacking core, but he replaces Ben Neiman, who was an absolute abysmal linebacker last season. Now we get Nick Bolton, who's a real deal, who is a standout in college. Now he's continuing on that trend as he has been playing extremely well throughout training camp. He has been really picking up the defense quickly, and Andy Reid is trusting him as a first-string player for the Kansas City Chiefs this season.
And finally, we have the Denver Broncos. And the Denver Broncos left a lot to be desired last season. They left a lot on the field that they probably should have had and could have translated into more wins and possibly saving some people's jobs. But at this point, they got to focus on this year, and that starts with Lloyd Cushenberry at center, KJ Hamler at wide receiver, and Javonte Williams at running back. Javonte Williams, from what I hear out of training camp, is that he is not only pushing Melvin Gordon for the RB1 position, but it looks almost, in fact, that he is going to be the RB1 already, and we haven't even gotten to the first preseason game. People in the media are saying that Melvin Gordon will start the first series, maybe get a couple of reps here and there, but after that, Javonte Williams will continue to get reps throughout this preseason. He is going to get reps with the first team offense, and then there's a potential that come the beginning of this season, he could be the RB1 for the Broncos, which would be a massive, massive haul for the Broncos. As listen, if Melvin Ingram is your RB2, you're doing something right. So Javonte Williams, definitely a name for you guys to pay attention to, especially in fantasy. He might be one of those guys you want to stick and stash maybe in the later rounds. I think overall Javonte Williams is going to be one of those guys that I look forward to, and I'm really excited to watch.
Yeah, Javonte Williams is a big player, and don't forget he was paired with Michael Carter at UNC for the last few seasons, and this is kind of reminiscent of when Nick Chubb and Sony Michel came into the league together. Well, guess what? Javonte Williams, he's Nick Chubb, so expect him to be a big running back in the NFL. Expect him to take over as RB1 at some point. May not be day one, but he will eventually be the RB1 for the Denver Broncos this season.
All right, well, I want to hear from you guys. Let us know what players from the AFC West that we're sleeping on that we never really got to talk about. I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say. So let us know in the comments down below. All right, well, that'll be all for now. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell. We go live every single day. That'll be all. Peace and love.